Hey guys, what is going on? This is your old pal CHH. This is going to be an interesting video because unfortunately it has to be somewhat of a negative video, but it's really more of a damn, that's a shame type thing. Because this release is actually really good. It's just like 10 years too late. Physical media world seemingly has moved on. When I got the announcement of this, I was so excited. Me, myself, I am a special features kind of guy. That's my number one thing. I love special features as much as the picture quality on stuff. And number one, if it's a movie I really love in general, then I can't wait to just experience getting a new version of it sometimes. If I really love it, it's exciting. You guys know how I am with Friday the 13th. Quite frankly, it's ridiculous. But sue me, that's how I am. Now, I'll get to what I mean by all that in a minute, but please indulge me because this is a movie I genuinely love so much. It's a hidden gem. I just happened to buy it one day because I kept seeing it over and over again and watched it, and I loved it. The story goes like this. I would go to FYE, and they would start to stock Scream Factory, Arrow Video type stuff, and there would always be certain movies I would almost become friends with seeing on the shelves. There would be movies like 976 Evil, which is kind of a touchy subject because now that movie's completely out of print. There would be other movies. One of those movies in particular was a movie called We Are Still Here. I would see that and House of the Devil all the time. I would never buy them until finally I bought House of the Devil because I just kept seeing it on the shelf. And finally, this movie, We Are Still Here, was down to like $7.99. Maybe that was an indication that the movie wasn't good. I don't know. But lo and behold, I took it home and I was like, you know what? I'm sick of just staring at this cover. Let me watch it. We Are Still Here greeted me with the likes of Barbara Crampton. And I was like, oh, wow. Because at that time, I hadn't seen anything besides Your Next, and to be truthful with you, I didn't even realize that was her with watching it, because I hadn't seen her in movies in so long, since I think sometime around like Castle Freak. So to say that she wasn't in movies for a while was an understatement. She took a big break. But I started watching this movie, and I was like, wait a minute, like this is actually pretty good. All right, so We Are Still Here in a small nutshell is basically this. The movie's about this couple that are going to live in this new home in this very, very small town. Now, the reason they're going there is to try to get a fresh start. They lost their child in a horrible accident. Their child passed away, and here they are, just moving to this quaint little home. The weather's nice and chilly. It's wintertime. It's a beautiful scenery. You would think this would be a nice place for a fresh start. We'd see movies take this motif all the time. It's clear that this is a movie that is just trying to pay homage to some of the classic things we'd seen before. Interestingly enough, I just have to say this because I might forget it later. The director of this movie said that this movie was an homage to House by the Cemetery. I never thought about that truthfully, but after watching the documentary on here and hearing him talk about it, I get it. I totally get it. Before we know it, this couple has started to settle in a little bit, but they brought some old friends of their son to come up and visit to kind of just give them some company. And in this house, sounds start happening. In certain parts of the house, it gets really, really hot. It smells like smoke in the basement. They don't understand why. They get people to come out and fix it, but it doesn't get fixed. People around this town start to act just a little bit strange. Is there somebody in the house? Is it ghosts? Is the place haunted? Is the town up to something? Well, that's where you got to watch the film to find out. But the thing about We Are Still Here that is so good is certain phrases that I don't like to use, but sometimes they are the right way to describe a film. We Are Still Here is a genuinely good slow burn movie that keeps you satisfied the whole way through. But the sense of dread throughout the beginning, middle, and end of this is so well done. It's just one of those instances where everybody's on the same page. They know what kind of movie they're trying to make. They do more with less, and it works. And the way that they show, let's just say, our villains in here, because I don't want to spoil anything, is haunting. It actually took me by surprise the first time I watched it. I was so impressed with We Are Still Here. I began to talk about it to people, and it certainly had a cult following, but I would hear from so many people over the years of, what is that? Never heard of it. Before I get into this release, I just want to say, please watch this movie. There is an older Blu-ray release, and there's also this new one. I'll tell you which one I think you should get at the end of this. Stream this movie. It's probably on Shudder, if not maybe Amazon Prime or something. It'll be on there. I'm sure you can stream it with one of the sites you have. Watch it. It's genuinely a good movie. And like I said, stars Barbara Crampton. So guys, the movie We're Still Here did have a Blu-ray release when it came out. Here's an image of it. I have it somewhere buried into the shelves of this horror room somewhere, and it's a fine release. I mean, it's got the movie, probably a trailer, and maybe a small EPK. Off memory, I don't even remember. I know it wasn't a whole lot. And, of course, it leaves a little to be desired when you become a big fan of the movie, and then after years go by, you wonder if there's ever going to be anything else for it. And then finally, we have something for it. Here it is. Let's talk about this and talk about why it really is just such a bummer. Here it is, guys. This is the 10th anniversary Blu-ray release of We Are Still Here. Now, when you look at this, it's clear that they're trying to do what looks to be like an early Scream Factory release with the type of artwork where it's good, almost comic booky. There's a collage style going on here. You know, at first glance, it's fine. Everything's fine. I actually don't have a complaint about the artwork. It's very much a pretty good representation of the film. There's actually more to it than I thought when I really stopped and looked at it. But, you know, the artwork's fine. I give them credit for actually, you know, hiring an artist to make something new. And the actual Blu-ray does not have the poster art, and it's not reversible. It actually holds the same type of artwork with this art on it, with the, you know, the cast on the front and everything. Now, what's the problem? The problem with this release is really this. It's done extremely well. Extremely well in terms of this features. Let me tell you about these features, and then we'll really get into this. I apologize. When we think back to the way Scream Factory used to do things around 2015, 16, 17, even closer up to 2020, it would be really nice Blu-ray releases with features. Now, what ended up happening during that time is Scream Factory stopped doing bodies of work and making of type things and making of type features and just splitting everything across the disc to make the bonus feature section look fatter. We've heard about this from multiple sources. It just is what they started doing. I don't know why. Hopefully they're reverting back to just making documentaries and bodies of work that are just really compelling and interesting for people to watch. But here's the thing that makes this release so great. It feels like a vintage, which is crazy to say now, but a vintage Scream Factory Blu-ray release, a collector's edition Blu-ray release. There are some cool features in here. Let me tell you about them. There's The Darkness Under the House, the lore of We Are Still Here. Now, what's so cool about that feature is the director, Ted Gogeegan, talks about every bit of lore the movie had that is very, very subliminal in the film, and you'd really have to stop and think and learn about. But he went over all of it, stuff that blew me away, how this movie is really a Lovecraft movie, except it's not one. But it's so homaging stuff about Lovecraft that it feels like it could be one. And then once you hear it and watch the movie, you can kind of put those pieces together a little bit. Also, the lore of some of the characters that, again, were there in the movie when I stopped and think about it when he said it, but I never would have picked up on. The director had so much subliminal stuff in this movie in terms of the lore, the story, that I was so impressed by that. It was such a cool feature. It was about 10 minutes in length. Nothing wrong with that. But then there's this. House Needs a Family. We Are Still Here 10 years later. It was a documentary with the full cast. Barbara, it had your boy Larry Fessenden in here. Everybody was in here. Except one poor actor that's unfortunately passed away. She couldn't be in this. But other than that, the director, the cast, Barbara, they went over every drop of this movie into getting the script, auditioning, being offered the parts, making the film, the reception of the film years later. It was fascinating, and it was absolutely fantastic. It was such a good feature. I was sitting here watching this, and I was like, it's just a shame. I know nobody's probably going to want to get this, at least not right away. But I was like, this is such a well-done Blu-ray release, and it just sucks that I don't feel anybody's going to be into this. Now, why do I say that? Listen, I got this because it was calculated. You know, I just wanted to get this and have a review out early for people to see it. Well, I say early, just, you know, they released it and I picked it up because, like, you know what? I do want to get this because I love this film, but I have to talk to the audience about something. So when I actually made like a post talking about this, with all that being said, guys, the movie looks good. It's a good-looking Blu-ray release. And the features are fantastic. The behind the scenes with the director talking about the lore and everything he made for this film, as well as the documentary, was about 40 minutes worth of material. It was great. The problem is, when this got posted, I kind of read the room on this online. Everybody was like, it's not 4K? Pass. And I can't decide if I agree or disagree, but I think I probably agree. I think people en masse are probably like, well, I already own that film. I have a Blu-ray of it. I don't care about features. I feel like I'm the odd man out with that because features are very important to me. But this release is probably 10 years too late. I do think there may have been a lot bigger of an audience had they done this as a 4K. And I think it probably would have looked fantastic. Don't get me wrong, the Blu-ray looks really good. But I really looked online and saw it looked overwhelming that most people were just like, I'm not buying this again if it's just Blu-ray. And it's just a shame because what a movie. What a movie this is. And it's like they made a 2015 Scream Factory release with a Blu-ray and great features. And I don't know, it's a shame. What can I say? I just feel like this is going to tank on sales. And now they're probably not going to go through any effort at all re-releasing anything. They may just say, well, screw it, let's keep the costs even lower and just slap a anniversary thing on the front and get a new drawing put on a slipcover. And that sucks. So I do think that Dark Sky really needs to recalibrate and probably say, okay, let's put more money into titles that sell for us. The fact that they have the House of the Devil, and they're just putting it out on a steelbook as a Blu-ray with a feature, I think, a new feature, it's not good enough. I mean, this has more features, but even so, I think the audience has spoken. They're ready for 4K from you guys, and doing releases that would be great 10, 12 years ago isn't cutting it anymore. So it's just one of those things. Now, the release itself, I do like, but even then, I think it's a little probably pricey for what it's worth. I think this release is a $22 release, not closer to $28, $29, whatever it was. I already forgot, but I know it wasn't $19.99. I remember that, but that's really what this should be costing people. I think if you keep the cost lower as well, you'd be able to get more people with this, but 10 years too late, Dark Sky. I think it's really time you guys should start looking into truly remastering your films. You did it for Texas Chainsaw, which I get. You know, thousands and hundreds of thousands of people are going to buy that. But titles like this, you should stop and say, wait a minute, let's make the ultimate release. Let's really go back and make this film make it a 4K and get all the people that have supported us in the past and bought our Blu-ray release of that film. So, 10 years too late. You know, kind of sucks because I love this movie and it's such a great little release. But if it would have been a 4K, it would have been probably one of my favorite releases of the year had it been a great restoration on top of that as well. But I don't know, guys. I need to see what you guys think about this whole thing. Is Dark Sky just too far back in the past? Are they 10 years behind everybody else? Maybe they are. Let me know, guys. But above all else, stream this movie, buy the standard Blu-ray, see this movie. We are still here. It is such a great, great little film. Huge, giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind-the-scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.